Hi guys, so welcome back for episode 3 of my Inspired by series, and today I have been inspired once again by YouTube. In particular, something I saw on Treasure Book's channel a few weeks back. I will leave the links to her video down below so you can go check it out. In her video she made some journals similar to this, where she was using a branch, some wood, as a way to bind the journal. And I really loved the idea so much that I straight away went and made one of these journals. And then I thought, ooh, I could do something a bit simpler and use it in a slightly different way. And that's what I'm going to share with you today. So first of all, if you want to know how to make this journal, it's basically going to be the similar as what I'm going to make in a minute, but do go check her channel out. She shows you how to do this. I also added some beads and a charm on mine, which is what we're going to do in the next project. She didn't do this. I've simply decorated. This is actually something inspired by SB Artistry, and this is velvet that I've stitched and lace and other bits, and it is a very, very simple journal. The great thing about this way of binding is you can use single sheets. Normally when we bind a journal, if we want to use a single sheet, we'd have to use washi tape or fabric to attach it to something else on the other side, because the binding goes through the journal, whereas in this one it's actually on top of the journal. It does mean you want your stickers straight and preferably as thin as possible, but this is one I've had for about 3 or 4 years, and I just love it. I love this bit of it. It's completely dried. It almost feels like leather, so I really want to use this. And yeah, it's a really simple journal. I've added a few of my fabric tabs on the side, which I made in a craft with me video. So lovely. Yeah, use some scrapbook, handmade papers, tea dyed, packing paper, hand dyed Edith Holden. Again, this is just a flat page. Some marble paper that my children had made, and right in the middle there is a junk mail envelope. And yeah, and these are single pages as well. Some of my inked papers. I don't know what I'm going to use this for, so I made the pages very basic and plain. It would be, if you're going to write in this, because of the way the sticks are, this is why you might want to use a thinner stick than I have used. Because of how wide that is, it can be a bit difficult, and you do lose space depending on the size. So I've got all that space there, but as soon as I turn it over, depending on the size. But Treasure Books goes through all that anyway, and I'm not bothered because I'll probably use this as an arty journal, collage journal, something like that. So this is what she made. Like I said, I then added the idea of putting some beads and charms onto it. And what we're going to make, instead of a journal, I thought what might be useful inside journals, or even just your everyday, is a little pad of paper. And that works better as well with the way the stick works in this project. So again, from part of this, you wouldn't believe it, this is actually part of this stick. I cut off a few pieces. I've got another piece here, and there's another piece somewhere. But we're going to use this one because it's straight. I like, again, it's got this bit, so it almost works with this as a pair. So I haven't actually had to go making this pad, but I have made the journal, so it can't be much more different to that. And I've just got this basket here full of little fabric bits, paper bits, book pages, handmade papers. I thought I had another piece of this lovely bead paper I'm sure I did have. Sure I saw it. Ah, here we go. And that's a perfect width. So I'm going to kind of make that the front of my journal. And yet it doesn't go all the way to the back unless I make it smaller and do it that way. The B's are the wrong way then, so let's do it up this way instead. This paper is just some wrapping paper that I had in my scraps because it was just so pretty, but you can see it's wrapping paper, gift wrap, it says where to cut and things. It's just so pretty. I really wanted to keep it and use it in a project, and that stick's going to fit on there beautifully. Okay, so now we're just going to get some pages and papers and bits like that. I don't mind if they're a bit wonky because I can trim them all. Again, I want it to look similar to the actual other journal that I've made. So I'm just going to grab some papers that I picked up in this basket. Like I said, there's book pages, handmade paper, tea paper, wrapping paper, all sorts of things. Let's do that like so. I don't mind if they're not straight. In fact, that kind of adds to it. I've also got some digital paper that I have left over from something I'm working on right now. And I just thought, as it's quite plain, it'd work well in here. I do want some of the beautiful handmade paper. Some of this pink paper again. It's just so pretty. I'm going to use this bit because it's got more flowers. And that's the simple reason. Tears beautifully. And again, if I just put this on here, I'll be able to roughly see where to do it. So, I mean, you can be super, I mean, that's not straight. I can trim, it's not a problem. You can be super particular about what you use in it, or you can do what I'm doing and make it a bit more rough and ready, because why not? A bit more arty. Yeah, I'm already liking that. Look at that. It's just so pretty. I do want to use some, I've got some of this scrapbook paper, but actually I really like this scrapbook paper. So I do want to use some of this. And again, the perfect thing about this is they can all be single sheets because of the way we're going to bind it. So I'm going to rip this. I like the torn edge look, so that's what I'm doing. Torn edges. I will trim the edge bits probably once. I want to make sure that's all down. You can have as many or as few sheets. I do want some of this actually, as you want. Because it depends on the size of journal, depends what you're going to use the journal for. These be good to put into journals. Probably work better in a soft cover journal, just because, I'm just looking through more papers, just because, no, I don't want that piece. In a soft cover journal, you have more room to put bulky ephemera in because the cover kind of goes around it. rather than in a hardcover journal where you're limited to the amount that you can put bulky stuff inside. I want this back here. I'm just doing it how I think it will look pleasing. Yep. So again, I don't mind bits off the edge because I will trim. So we're getting a little notepad, nothing revolutionary. I'm sure you've all made pads before. Oh, I've got some of this lined paper too. My worry with that is with the binding, whether I'd get both pieces bound. But do you know what? I'm going to try it. I'm going to put it in and then hopefully we will be able to bind it in a way that will work. If I put it more to the edge, it means I should be able to get the edge and the middle binding sorted. I mean, that's getting quite bulky as it is. And I think I'll only add one more thing. I want to add one of these in there. Just because it's pretty. And I like it. And the thing with these is, okay, so you might not be able to write on it, and I'm sure many of you know this already, but if you just gesso over the top of that, you'll be able to write on it. So, you know, it doesn't matter that there's an image on there, and I like the way that pops out and you can see the colour. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use some clips to just clip it on, and I'm going to get my paper trimmer and trim down the edges so that they're neater. And that won't work at all, will it? Because my paper trimmer won't be able to go there. So I'm just going to, hopefully you can see that on camera, trim the edge of that. Perfect. Let's do the other side. Okay, so now it's nice and neat on the edges, and if I put these here, we can have a quick flip through. Make perfect little pads. You could carry this in your bag as a notepad, keep it on your desk, keep it beside your chair. It would be great for shopping lists, anything. You do need to, and I will say, one of the most important things is you need to make sure that every single piece of paper that you are using in this is to the edge here. You don't want any pieces to be loose because they'll just fall out when you're binding it, which is not ideal. So I'm going to use some clips to hold that in place. And now we are going to put this on. So I've got a book here. I've got my bookbinding kit. So I'm going to need my awl. I'm going to need a needle. And I am actually going to use my wax threads just because you don't have to. I think I want to use green on this one, so I'm going to, but you know, you can use embroidery thread, which I think Treasure Books did. I'm going to do it to possibly 4 or 5. And I'm just doing it roughly. I don't mind if I cut extra of my wax threads. If you've got limited amounts and are worried about that, you know, you do what you feel works best for you. But I do about 4 or 5, and I don't mind it being more than that because I'll just use the thread, the leftover thread, in another project. Now, first things, I'm going to do it this way so I can see it. Work out which way you want your stick. So I've got this lumpy bit here, which I think I'd prefer near the top. And then you're going to, again, Treasure Book shows you how to do this. This is how I did it. I can't remember if she did it exactly this way, but this is how I did it. So I kind of roll the stick slightly out of the way because you want your hole to be under where the stick goes. But you kind of need to remember, if your stick's not straight and has bends in it or anything you want showing, you want to make sure that you're kind of keeping the stick on there to do the holes. Otherwise, you're going to have them in the wrong place. Back on. I'm doing 3 because 3 will work with this project. Larger projects, like on this journal, I did 4 to hold the bigger stick on. You could do 5, whatever works for you. Okay, I'm going to have to be really careful because that's really near the edge. So, I'm going to get my stick. Oh, first things, I need to put a knot in one end because you're going to be stitching from behind. There may be other ways of doing this. I'm kind of copying what Treasure Books did and just what works for me. So I've done quite a big knot. And then as you can see on this one, I've gone around twice on the stick for each side. It looks like more here, but that's because I've added the charms. So let's make sure we've got it in the right place. Let's put the hole through the needle. Hopefully I'll do all this on camera so you can see. It's probably better using a thinner needle and thinner thread depending on the thickness of your paper. And then I'm going to go back through that hole get my stick where I need it to be, and I am going to tighten. Now, I know Treasure Books kind of said about wrapping it tight. I can't remember how she did it, but I find it easiest to do the one loop around each bit of the stick first, because then you have it kind of in place, and then go back and do the second loop. Hopefully that makes sense in a minute. So that's there, but make sure you have your branch where you want it, and make sure you're tightening. Just like when you're doing a normal journal anyway, you want it to be as tight as possible. But the difference here, in a normal journal, if your signature's not tight, it'll be wobbly and maybe some of the pages won't be as secured. With this one, if it's not tight, the stick will fall out and the whole pad will fall apart. So really pulling it tight. And now I'm going to go back through this one again, the last one, back through the same hole on the other side. Hopefully you can see that, because we're going up again, back through the same hole. So now we have two. I'm going to strengthen, really pull it tight, and then again I'm going through the back and I'm going around. So I'm going around the stick. You could probably use something other than a stick, I mean, but you just have to make sure that your binding when you're doing this is super tight. Also, I suppose it will depend on how much you're going to use it. The bigger journal, I might not be using as much, but even though it's got four lots of thread anyway, this one gets a bit more tricky because of the knot. So I have to go under the knot. But if you're going to make a little pad like this and make it so... I've done it so tight, I literally can't get my needle through. Hold on. There we go. And you're going to make it as tight as possible. And be careful, just as when you're binding a normal journal, not to put your needle through the other thread, because that makes it super difficult and weak. Okay, let's try and get this back through. Yeah, where the knot is just makes it a bit harder. And I've just done what I said don't do. I've just got my needle stuck through the thread. Hope you can see that. So thankfully only a little bit, so I can remove that. Put it back through. And really, really pull everything super tight. And then I'm going to just put my needle through again and make a knot in the middle. And again, pull it as tight as possible. Put it through again. So I hope you can see all this. And we're left with this bit, but actually I'm going to use that in the project, so it doesn't matter. So there we go. This is tight. It doesn't move. You can see that it's not moving. And here, now I'm trying to check that all my papers are in, making sure they were all up near the top. Yep. It's all good. This one, yep, all near the top. Perfect. So this is nice and sturdy. It's not moving. And now, I particularly like this side, so I'm going to put my charm, I think, on this side, because also there's no knots on that side. So the way I did this is a bit different. I didn't do a knot. Again, I'm going to come in through the back for the hole, because the hole's already there, up around the branch. Or did I do it this way? What way did I do it? No, I didn't do it that way. I went from the front. Sorry, guys. So I'm going to go from the front, back through the hole, leave a bit dangling, go back through the hole on the other side of the branch. Did I do it this way? I think so. So now you've got a piece either side of the branch or stick or whatever you're using. And I am going to tie that again really tightly, put a knot in it, because we are going to add, can even put it underneath, we are going to add some beads and charms. So because there's greens and browns and reds and things like that, let me just get my little bead pot over. This is how I keep all my beads. And let me have a look. I think I might want, I've got a lot of browns on this one and greens. I think I might want a bit more pop of colour with these like reddish ones. So I'm going to grab red. And I don't really have, oh, I might grab one of these yellowy orangey ones too. And do I want a green? I might want a green. Or do I want a brown? I might want a brown ones actually. So let's grab one of my brown bead pots. And I'm sure you all know how to make charms. This is over full to flowing. Can you see this? Have I got it on camera? This is seriously over full to flowing. But I really love this one, so I might use that one on there. Or I've got this cute little flower one actually. And I could take the metal out of that. Possibly. So that's a possibility. That's a possibility. Or I just go simple and add, do you know what, I think I like that out of everything. So I'm just hoping, I'm just going to check I can get it through there. This is really hard to do on camera. Oh, okay, so I don't think I'm going to be able to get it through this one, which is a shame because I really like it. Okay, back to the bead pot. Let's have a look at what we've got. Lots of beads that are going everywhere, so let's just pull some out and put them in there. I think I liked that because it was slightly darker, so maybe I should look for a darker bead. Something like this might work. Something like that is, I think, too chunky. We do have this one. That's quite big though. So that's the same as that one. Oh, I've got this one. Right, okay, let's try this one and see if it'll go through here. Because I like this because of all the mottledness. Yeah, that goes through. Right, so I'm going to tie another knot again. It just, do you know what? The more knots you've got that are secure, you know, the better it is for the stick. And I'm just going to put that through there. So I've got my red one. Perfect. I think I want a yellowy brown one. I've got this nice golden one there. Oh, there's a green in there. What's that doing in there? So there's this nice one. And it goes with the bumblebee and the flowers. So I think I'm going to use that. And hope that it fits through. It is going through. There we go. Right, so that's through. And I just want a little brown one on the end. And I really love these little wooden ones. I've got a smaller one actually, really teeny tiny wooden ball. I think that'll work actually. I just like the brown on there. So we've got that. And I can tie it. Again, nothing revolutionary. I'm sure you've all done beads. I'm sure you'll have your way of doing it. You'll have your way of what you want to add and how you secure them and all that kind of thing. So that's now on there. Perfect. Might be nice if I'd made it a bit longer just because when I'm coming to write, well, the beads go over the top, so that's actually okay. They go over the top of the stick. Again, just cutting and strengthening. And I'm going to trim that off. So, we've got the beads. And now I want to add a charm. So I've actually got some buttons here as well, which are really nice. Because a button would work on there. That'd look pretty. One of these kind of buttons would look really pretty too. But I want to add a charm. And I've got a Tim Holtz metal one that just says noted. Which, you know, noted. I'm going to double this over. Make a loop and do it that way. Put it through. And put it through like that. That's how I like doing it. I want it a bit longer than the beads, which is perfect. So let me show you that again, because I kind of did it and didn't even like show you. It's really hard to do. So I loop it, push it through. This is good with things like these tokens. So you've now got a loop on this side. You see that? And then I get the piece of string that's still on this side and I push that through the loop. And it means you've got the ability, first of all, it lies straight. And secondly, you've got the ability to move it around. And then I just tie a knot as I normally would. So, yeah. And again, I'm going to do another knot just because why not? Why not? Why not add another knot? Sorry, that was very bad. So there we go. So that's the little notepad. Now the only thing still to do is to embellish the front a little bit. And if you've seen my craft with me video, you will see I made fabric snippets. And I thought this one would work really well. I still have another one, but that's just a bit too small. This one's got a cute butterfly on it, and I think it'll work. And I can just add that on there. You can still see the bumblebees on either side, so I'm just going to glue that on. Oh, it won't come off my glue. I'm just going to glue that on. And then it's decorated. These fabric snippets really just come in handy. I made quite a lot on camera, and I had quite a lot. And in the past week, I think I've used nearly all of them up. I've only got a few left. So I'm going to have to make more. But yeah, that works. Or you could do like here where I've used leaves and buttons. But because this is a small pad, then, you know, it just works better to do a smaller embellishment. Try and get everything out of the way. Hopefully you can see all that. So there we have it, guys. Obviously you can ink it. I'm not going to do that. But there we have it. Instead of the big journal, she made them all different sizes. And again, this is brilliant. I'll probably use it for collage work or writing. Love how this looked. And now I was just thinking, why not make a notepad to go with it? So that's what I was inspired by. That glue needs to dry, but it will dry. The little butterflies on there, which is quite cute, because actually it works really well because these colours in the butterfly go really well with these colours in the beads. And there you have it, my little notepad that I can just pop in my bag, use, write on, put shopping list, put some gesso over this so I can use it. And obviously you can use both sides, obviously. It's a bit harder again to write on this side because of everything. But you can write on the other side, or it could be a scrappy notepad where you're just putting pieces of paper in there and stuff to use in your journals. So as I said, I will leave the video that I was inspired by Treasure Books down below, where she made these journals. And then I was inspired to not only make a journal and add some beads and charms because it's me and some fabric, but I was inspired to make a little pad. It works perfectly. You could even pop it in the journal. As I said, it's a bit, because of the stick, it can be a bit bulky, but yeah. So there we go, guys. Let me know what you think down below. Let me know if you're going to make one of these. Yeah, I always love hearing your comments, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't seen any of my Inspired by videos, there's 2 others. There's a playlist that I've created. So go ahead and check those out and see what other things I was inspired to make. And I'll have another inspired by video coming along again soon. So stick around and see what I'm inspired by next, guys. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And wherever you are in the world, I hope you're safe. And I hope you're having some crafty fun. Until next time, guys, bye for now.